Hello and welcome to a special whiteboard training Wednesday. Today I'm talking to you about 10 characteristics to choose your industry career by. So we've done surveys since the inception of Cheeky Scientist and the Cheeky Scientist Association. By the way, the Cheeky Scientist Association is turning 7 years old, and we're celebrating, if you haven't heard yet, we're celebrating Monday, February 15th by rolling back our membership price to 2014 levels. The original pricing 7 years ago, Monday only, you can get in to the Cheeky Scientist Association with our special rollback event. So we've been talking about careers this week. We also have a special celebration webinar tomorrow. So that's Thursday, it would be, what would it be, February 10th? No, 11th. Thursday, February 11th, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're doing a special career on the top 37 careers, special webinar on the top 37 careers for PhDs and 6 careers to avoid in 2021. Now, since the inception, again, of the Cheeky Scientist Association, we've done surveys with our members, non-members, as many PhDs as we could find, asking them where they're stuck in their job search. The number one place they're stuck, they don't even know where to start. They have no idea which positions are available in industry and which are right for them. So we developed a formula, and this formula will help you figure out which positions are right for you. Okay, so the formula starts, this is just part of the process, but it's a great starting point. This formula will help you understand which careers might be right for you, which might be wrong for you, and it just comes down to looking at 10 different characteristics. This goes back to our core methodology of figuring out the professional lifestyle that's right for you, not looking for a job title that sounds impressive. You figure out the professional lifestyle, you evaluate that lifestyle based on different characteristics. Do you want to write a lot? Do you want to have an innovative position? Do you want to work more on the commercialization side of industry? Rank these characteristics for yourself from 1 to 10. Rank them from 1 to 10, and then this will help you identify which job titles are right for you, right? So you'll fit the job titles to these characteristics, to what you want your professional lifestyle to look like. Okay, number 1, high salary. This is easy. Some PhDs, and we see it's about half and half, right? Some PhDs are like, I'm tired of being poor and broke. I want to get into industry for a higher salary. And that's okay. You deserve to be paid well. Why should somebody with a master's or bachelor's be managing you, be paid more than you? You've put in all this time and effort. You have transferable skills that are valuable across different industries. You deserve to be paid well. Now, I have an asterisk here because to get a high paid job in industry, you have to go beyond technical expertise. The example I like to talk about a lot is the data analyst position versus the data scientist position. What's the difference between the two? Well, the difference can be $40,000 a year or more for the data scientist. What makes that difference though? A data analyst, a lot of PhDs work as a data analyst, unfortunately, side by side or sometimes beneath people with their master's or bachelor's. A data scientist though is more traditionally a PhD level job, and it requires you not just to have a technical skill set, not just to be able to crunch numbers and do modeling or to be able to learn Python. That's the easy part. The hard part is you have to be able to talk to executives, non-technical people. You have to translate that technical information, your technical expertise, that technical data into business data, to actionable business advice, and be able to stand in front of investors, customers, executives, and stand your ground and make rational arguments on how something might be right technically, but it also makes sense to do something business-wise. And you have to be able to speak a whole different language. You got to be able to speak nerd and normal person. I'm going to come back to that, but that's the only way you're going to get an actual high salary in industry for one of these top positions. Data scientist, medical science liaison, user experience researcher. Number 2, remote versus in-house work. Everybody's working remotely now, or can work remotely now. I mean, a lot of people, right? There's workforce decentralization. The pandemic has sped this up, of course, in industry. However, there's still there's going to be in-house positions. There are in-house positions right now. So do you want to work in-house at a company, or do you want a remote position? Do you want to work in-house in a medical affairs department at a pharmaceutical company, or do you want to be in the field most of the time as a medical science liaison? Do you even know the difference? Do you want to be an application scientist or application engineer? You'll be in the field most of the time, even if things get back to normal or the new normal, right? But if you're working more in, let's say, technical support, you're going to be on site. Which do you want? Which is better for you? Make that decision and you can eliminate a lot of jobs that would not be right for you and start zeroing in on those that would be. Okay, innovative position. So think of all of industry as a spectrum. Yeah, the tip of innovation on one side of the spectrum, that's the intellectual property. Patent analysts, patent examiners would work on that far side of the innovation spectrum. And then it moves towards the commercialization side, right? A product offering is made, it's tested. There might be different quality control checks in the middle, the manufacturing process. The product's developed, it's put out into the marketplace, now it's supported, right? This could be capital equipment specialists, medical science liaisons, people that are supporting a treatment, a drug, a product in the field. The app size, like we talked about earlier, that's on the commercialization side. At the end of the commercialization side is supporting that product after it's been in the market, right? Technical support. Where do you want to be on that spectrum? If you can identify even roughly where you want to be, you can again eliminate a lot of different jobs and zero in on the jobs that are right for you. So do you want to be on the innovation side or the commercialization side? Right? Product development, marketing, technical sales, technical support, medical science liaison. Some positions can be on the innovative or the commercial side, but either way you can zero in on the right position at the right company for you based on if it's more innovative or more commercial. Number 5, management versus entry level. Notice there's that asterisk again. What does that asterisk mean? It means you have to be able to speak a different language. You've learned how to speak to academic audiences, to reviewers. Okay, you've learned how to do what a technician can do. Are you going to be able to step up to be a manager? Can you manage subordinates? Can you delegate? Can you speak nerd and normal person? Can you manage people who do not have your technical skills? This is one of the most common questions today by employers across the board. How do you communicate with people that lack your technical understanding? How do you communicate with people that don't learn as quickly as you? They love asking PhDs this question. How do you answer it? They'll dig in. What's the process? Okay, what are some of the words you would use that you wouldn't use? Too many PhDs are like, I don't want to learn how to talk to people that don't have my intellect or that haven't learned my field. Guess what? You've learned a very narrow field. There's 5 people in the world, they're all on your thesis committee, that know your exact technical discipline as well as you do. So you better learn how to talk to other people, and you better start targeting management level positions. If you get stuck in an entry level position working next to somebody with their bachelor's or master's, you'll be there for an average of 5 to 8 years. Studies by Rasmussen College show 5 to 8 years you'll be stuck in an entry level position if that's your first job in industry. Get into the senior level, the principal level position first. You can do that without a postdoc. We're going to talk about that tomorrow on tomorrow's webinar, by the way. Number 6, writing intensive. How much do you want to write? Some PhDs love writing, they don't mind it. Others, they don't want to write anymore, right? So you all have technical literacy. This is a huge advantage. Do you want to be in a position? Now, it could be on the side of the spectrum where you're writing all day long, like a medical writer, right, a technical writer, or it could be in the middle. It could be a project manager. You're going to have a lot of writing to do as well as managing and coordinating different projects, but you'll write a statement of work, a project charter, different administrative documents, other types of material as needed to get the job done. Where do you want to be? Number 7, numbers heavy, right? So we're talking like informatics. We're talking data scientists. We're talking crunching numbers all day long, quantitative analysts, R&D, lots of data analysis. Some people hate that, believe it or not. Others, they're open to doing it, so you can be on the middle of the spectrum. Others don't want to do it at all. They want to move past the data analysis. They want to work with customers. They want to troubleshoot. They want to do more, they want to be in a marketing department. You just have to choose what's right for you. Think about it this way. Think about it in a simple way, a list of characteristics that you prioritize. Number 1, most important. Number 2, number 3, and what's last on the list. All right, travel. Big debate right now. A lot of companies are opening up travel. Some medical science liaisons are traveling again. Application scientists, they travel a lot. It dramatically affects your lifestyle. Do you want to travel? 30% of the time, if it's above 30%, that's a lot. So if you've ever seen a job posting that said, 30% travel, 40%, if it's 30 or above, consider it a lot. Choose carefully. Make the choice actively. Number 9, customer facing. You can get paid more by being able to be in the field, right? Whether those customers are key opinion leaders, clinicians, People that you're talking to that a company sells a medical device to, and then they use that medical device for their research, right? So an application scientist or somebody supporting that device and working with that high-level client, that's customer facing. It could be going into the field and working with people in the lab that are using a company's antibody portfolio. Do you want to be customer facing? If so, how much? Every role, you have to be ready to be customer facing somewhat. Even somebody in R&D, right? They'll get flown out to a conference to explain to the team how a new product works, to explain to the public, perhaps on a poster session, whatever else. So it's going to be somewhat customer facing, but how much? Do you want to interact with customers every day, a couple times a week, or as little as possible? And then finally, clinical. I'm mentioning this because there are so many clinical jobs available to PhDs now. You've heard me talk about medical science liaison jobs, medical affairs jobs, regulatory affairs jobs now, clinical research associate, clinical research scientist. All of these roles do not require you to have clinical experience anymore. They are hiring PhDs into these roles aggressively. Everything that's happened in 2020 and beyond, the world media has marketed the importance of clinical research. There's 600 clinical trials now for COVID. You are needed. Employers want PhDs in these roles. More PhDs are hired into these roles than PharmDs or MDs now because they know that you can learn any field. You don't need clinical experience, you don't need industry experience. So if you want those clinical roles, that can help you know which job titles would be right for you. If clinical's at the top of the list, you'd love to get into clinical work, consider being a CRA, a medical science liaison, medical affairs, a clinical data manager. So many different positions related to clinical trials that are going on worldwide. So make the list yourself, rank it from 1 to 10, consider the characteristics for the jobs that are available to you. Show up to our webinar tomorrow, Thursday, February 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Top 37 career titles, the job titles. I'm going to go through them tomorrow in that webinar. And it's a special webinar for our 7th birthday of the Cheeky Scientist Association. And of course, this Monday, February 15th, we're rolling back the price of the Cheeky Scientist Association membership to 2014 levels, the initial pricing, so stay tuned for that so you can get into the association. Remember your value as a PhD and start thinking and acting like a successful industry professional.